Snit, did you have a time or to talk to the team, and what did you tell them?
Yeah, no. I mean, I just, it's one of those things where you've been with them for 7.5 months. I pretty much just told them they have nothing to hang their heads about. I mean, it stinks what just happened. We wanted to go deep into this postseason, but that's, I said in my first meeting every year, it's like we want to check the first box, win the division, because you never know what might happen. And we hit 300 and some homers, and and didn't happen in this playoff series. So just one of them things. But I told them how proud I was of them, and you can't underscore what happened this year was phenomenal. It's a phenomenal year for our club. Didn't end the way we wanted it to, but it doesn't always do that in this game. But I said, well, take a couple of months off, and then we're going to go back to Northport in middle of February and gear up to do it again.
Here in the front, Justin.
Snit, anything you can put your finger on in terms of why the offense didn't show up as you expected?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I thought we did everything possible during the delay. Recreated things as the best we could, and we can do everything right and all that, and you start a series and your offense doesn't get traction. I mean, it can happen anytime. It happens in series over the course of the summer. But I don't know that we could have done anything any better or been more thorough in what we did with our time off to get us ready to play. Other than the fact that, when you're doing that, the adrenaline and playing for something, all that's not there. And that's, that's a big deal. But I think the players were unbelievable in how they handled it all. The energy, how the focus that they did. I don't know that we can do it any better.
You always say the postseason can be a crapshoot, as you kind of mentioned a couple minutes ago. But how tough is that to come to grips with when you did have so many wins?
It's hard. I told him, man, it's tough. I mean, it takes a while to get over something like this after the year we had, the expectation we have here. But you know what? It's all the credit. The Phillies stifled us. I mean, they pitched really well. They had great plans. Their guys got big hits. I mean, you can't take anything away from that. Oh my God, we got beat and didn't play good enough to win a series. That's just as simple as that. We got beat by a really good club that has a penchant for, this time of year. I mean, at the end of the year, they put it's a good club. So as I said, I told our guy, we got nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, still tough.
In the front, Dave.
Snit, how last year you had Fried and Strider both coming in with injuries or illness. How much did the pitching play into it this year, not having Charlie and having?
Well, it's always big when you don't have one of your starters, especially a guy with the pedigree of Charlie. It's not ideal, but what? I mean, I told Spencer, he was kind of wanted to do more, and I was like, my God, all the jams he got out of and how he pitched today, and he gave up 3 solo homers. I mean, he left it all out there, and he threw the heck out of the ball game 1 too. I've been just so proud of that kid, where he's come this year. I mean, my God, he's weathered storms more than once in his first full year as a major league reliever, and to see how he went out here in this postseason, this kid's, the sky's the limit for him.
We'll go back to Mark in the front row.
We saw it, the Braves did it to Barry Bonds. We saw Arizona. We saw the Braves of yesteryear do it to Barry Bonds. We saw the Diamondbacks do this to Freddie and Mookie this week. When you see Ronald and Matt have this kind of series, is it just was a game plan, or was it the way they attacked them? What do you see?
I don't know. I don't know against guys of that caliber. It's just things like that happen in baseball. Matt went 15 days without a homer or something like that over the course of the summer, but it's magnified on this stage. But it happens. It's baseball, and those two guys, my God, they 1, 2, whatever, and MVP. That's just. They should go home and tomorrow and sit in their easy chairs or whatever and feel good about everything that they've accomplished these last 7.5 months. And but it's kind of I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know what the remedy is. It's just baseball. It happens and stinks when it does.
Second row on the right.
Snit, you guys have had a lot of success against the Phillies these last couple of years in the regular season.
Yeah.
You get here these last 2 years. I mean, what really changes that makes them kind of...
Gabe, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I wish I had the secret sauce for that. Like I said, this is an experienced, really good club. I mean, I feel like last year all of a sudden they got everybody healthy. And they got big-time players on this team. I don't know. I really don't know.
Second row on the left.
You've talked about the crazy things happen in the playoffs, and they've always happened in the playoffs. But the last few years where teams have had byes, where they've had extended time, baseball being such a game of rhythm, whatever the right amount of teams should be in the playoffs, do you think the system ought to be in such a way that there isn't that much time off
I'm
schedule?
not going to say that's the excuse for us because, you know what, I look at the Astros, didn't bother them. They kind of kept hitting on all cylinders. I remember I used to ask Bobby if he worried about clinching too early, even for the playoffs, and he never did. I mean, it was always like no. And you know what? And we go into this next year. We're going to try and fight like heck to get home field, win the division. It's not ideal. And that's why I think this year we changed the format of our week. Like I said, it's not ideal, but you know what? We got to, if we want to put ourselves in that position, we got to figure out a way. Whether it's just internally or whatever. Because it is. This game is. I said I always worried at the All-Star break. Well, we got 4 days off, but the whole industry does. So, it's different. It's hard, when you're in this an everyday sport. I never liked 2 days off for, as a team or whatever. I think 1 day's plenty. But you know what? It's what it is, and we got to figure it out.
In the front, Justin.
From your vantage point, did you think Ronald's ball was going to drop there in the 7th?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I didn't think he clipped it great. But, there's a lot of balls over the course of the summer that I see get in the air, and all of a sudden they just keep carrying. And when a guy like that hits it, you never know. I don't know the exit velocity or anything like that. But, when he hit it, I thought, man, when I saw the outfielder kind of holding up a little bit, I thought, well, maybe this ball's going to be off the wall. I was hoping.
You credited the Phillies. How much different are they now than a couple years ago because of the bullpen and the type of arms?
No, they're starters. They've done a great job with their bullpen. It's just a really solid, good team.
Great. Thanks so much, Snit.
Okay, thank you.